And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the UMG Apex $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflection Double, joined by Onset and Gaskin, and we have our final series. And Onset, we were kind of talking about it. We thought this was going to be a winners matchup. It's actually a losers matchup, CLG and Ghost. We just assumed because, well, Ghost had played so well that they were already moving forward, but they were defeated a little bit earlier, and I don't know if they were Group C, but either way, let's take a look at Group C and have a little bit more of a discussion. It actually is. So there it is. The Wingmen beating Ghost Gaming 3-1, knocking them down to the losers bracket to play against CLG.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who the Wingmen are, it's Stunny, Oxy, Aries, and Bowser, so it's not like they're nobodies, right? It's a group of very, very talented individuals, and you can see from the series score that they managed to get the job done, which is the most important thing. But now you're seeing CLG versus Ghost Gaming, which we're obviously going to be focusing on, and CLG a very, very close loss to the Wingmen a little bit earlier. So this group in general just looks like it's really stacked. It really is a very competitive looking lineup, and for Ghost Gaming, they're going to want to make it through to tomorrow. That's the most important thing. Obviously, they've fallen down to the Wingmen, but beating Furia earlier, I think they'll be a little bit disappointed if they don't go through. Yeah,
CLG, Nano, Dimi, and Luxford. I don't know. This might be a lot closer than I was even expecting. You know, I always view Ghost as an outlier, maybe one of the favorites, and they really are when you just look at that roster and look at the name alone. And even their previous performance in Arena. But Gaskin, it seems like CLG is truly holding their own. 3-1 against Furia, which is the same exact performance Ghost gave them earlier. But that close series, like Onset said, against the Wingmen, gives me faith that CLG actually could be the favorite in this next matchup.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to play style, of course, and it can come down to legend selection. We saw how Furia really struggled when they didn't have the Gibbies, and Ghost were able to take advantage of that. Maybe then going into a matchup against Wingmen, who probably would have been playing at Gibraltar, Ghost maybe weren't just ready for that. They were too used to playing against another team who plays in an entirely different way. So maybe it caught them off guard. Of course, we're just speaking hypothetically. We don't actually know because we weren't able to watch the game. But certainly CLG are going to put up one hell of a fight. We know that just from the result they were able to get against Furia, because that's no mean feat either. We know Furia are an amazing squad, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this matchup goes.
Well, Gaskin, let's move into Group D. Another stacked group, obviously. Arena Demons. We saw them get a great victory against Pittsburgh Knights earlier. That drops them down to play against Lazarus, who, man, I wish we could have seen that loser bracket matchup. It went to Game 5 and probably was as close as could be, but Roller Theory ends up taking a bit of an early L. Pittsburgh Knights, though, didn't have really any struggles against them, right? It was a 3-0 victory, which means, of course, Gaskin, we like to say different play style, but PK might be the stronger team in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect them to be the stronger team. When you look at these four teams, I mean, Arena Demons and Knights, they screamed out as the best two, but I did say it was going to be a close bracket, and you can see that by the Lazarus Roller Theory game being 3-2, but Knights being able to roll over Roller Theory in a 3-0 fashion, and Lazarus only beating them 3-2, that would handily suggest it's going to be somewhat comfortable for Knights, but maybe Lazarus were just a little bit slow out of the gates at the start of the tournament, and who knows, maybe they'll show what they're made of here against Knights in that matchup.
And Onset, Arena Demons, man, that victory for PK was incredible, wasn't it? I mean, Aiden rocking 4 different legends. No one does that.
No, he played Crypto. And I said at the start, it'd be funny if Tech played Crypto, wouldn't it? And then I'm just being shown like I'm an idiot and you can...
Still lost, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you shouldn't have played Crypto. It's one of those things. But it just shows that there's flexibility, right, in arenas, and there's always things that are going to be surprising. And if there's one team that's going to do it, it's Arena Demons. They have surprised us numerous times before, and you posed the question earlier, are teams used to the way that they're playing now? Have they adapted to the meta that's been set? Well, they're constantly evolving it, and that's really good to see for a team.
Yeah, absolutely good to see. Sometimes, though, it can, bite them in the butt. Crypto being one of them. Who knows if they played Gibby? Would it have been a better play? Well, that's all hearsay. We don't know. We'll have to see tomorrow. But hey, let's get into the matchup at hand here. CLG versus Ghost. We've got our series layout. And once again, we aren't going to see that new map, Habitat 4. That's okay. Like I said before at the beginning of the show, I think it's going to be that wild card pick. Gaskin, we had a chance to watch Ghost earlier. We haven't seen CLG, but Ghost did play on 4 different maps. And that was Party Crasher, Overflow, Phase Runner, and Thermal Stations. So literally all of the first 4 maps we see before us.
Yeah, I think Ghost had a good plan for all of them. They were caught off guard, of course, once in that series, but I think they would have learned from those mistakes. And again, it was against a team that weren't running that Gibraltar. They were a little bit more aggressive than perhaps you're used to playing against in arenas. And who knows, maybe CLG will offer something similar. Maybe they'll go for more of an aggressive composition as well that Ghost are going to have to try and answer here. But certainly map selection, at this point, all of the teams should be comfortable on every single map aside from the newer map and maybe Encore as well, because that was newer at one point and maybe teams haven't practiced it as much. But the first four, I mean, it's just it's like furniture at this point. We're all used to playing on these maps. It's like sitting on a couch and you see a little stain on the side and you're like, well, it's we don't
oddly
need to
specific
because it's there.
Oddly specific. I went to a wedding actually in California last weekend, and there was that very couch in that hotel room, and I just didn't sit on it. I avoided it and sat on the chair instead. So that actually is very relatable to me. Very, very smart indeed, because you never know. Onset, it seems like the best map for Ghost seems to be Phase Runner. That's going to be map number 2. So very important. CLG starts off strong on map number 1, which of course is Overflow. Which, speaking of which, Gaskin brought up a great point. That's kind of tapering off on the aggression. Ghost played very methodically. You know, they could get in your face if they wanted to, but we did see once they were challenged up close and personal, they did run into, some struggles a little bit. CLG, we don't know the way that they're going to play in this series today, but if they are in the face of Ghost, well, Ghost is going to have to readjust.
Yeah, I think first map's very, very important for both teams here for the exact reasons that you've highlighted, right? If CLG take it, then you've got a map cushion where you know that Ghosts are really good in the second map, right? And if you steal that away, then the series is yours. But on the other side of things, if they lose it, then all of a sudden they could be 2 down. So it's a very, very important first map of the series. And it's always fun when we have good, important first maps because, it just means that it just can build the series a little bit, right? For CLG, this is massive. I think they have to win it if they want to win the series.
Well, they have to win, yeah. I mean, I think map number 1 is going to set the precedence. They don't. Ghost's going to have all the confidence in the world. But the reality is both teams are in loser's bracket, which means one's been fighting, and Ghost dropped down, I think, more recently. So we'll see how much that's going to have an effect on them. They were one series away from being in playoffs tomorrow and their day being done. Now they got to work a little bit harder. Gaskin, let's start off with you, brother. Who are you predicting to win?
I'm going to go for Ghost Gaming. I went for them earlier. I think that they have more of a knowledgeable approach to arenas is what I'll say over CLG. I think they've had a lot more practice. We've seen them time and time again in these tournaments. It's not their first rodeo. They know their way around the block. Whatever cliche you want to use, Ghost Gaming have got it for me.
I love a good rodeo. Onset, who are you going for?
I'm going with Dan again. Oh. Which is just weird, right?
Is this all day?
I know, like we're in sync today, Dan. We're picking the same teams, the same reasoning. Exactly.
Well, neither is he.
We're really trying today. I'm impressed. I'm going with Ghost. Same reasons. I think that they've just shown that they have a good knowledge of arenas and how it plays. They know how to play certain situations, and yeah, they might lose a few fights that we have seen so far, but I think overall, across the series, you'd expect them to win.
And disappointed in Fallout. He's the only one who's been wrong today. I think everybody has been correct today except for him, because he had to go with the Pittsburgh Knights because he heard, Arena Demons, they got a sub, man. They're playing with R. Reeds. They ended up winning, and Blaze ended up being correct. So Fallout's the only guy who's wrong. Chat. Well, actually, Chat's been right all the time, too. So you guys are all neck and neck. Chat, who are you going with? You going CLG or you going with Ghost? Both are good picks. Both are really good picks. And after seeing that bracket from a little bit earlier, CLG, I'm telling you, they might surprise us quite a bit. I think we're still waiting on it, so that's okay. We'll just sit here in suspense, but this is going to be a great series nonetheless. Speaking of which, Onset, CLG, with the members that they have, Nano, Dimi, and Luxford, how do they... Oh, it's CLG. So, let me continue with that question. Those three, do they strike the fear in you when they're playing against Ghosts? What do you think?
Obviously, according to the chat. I mean, the one thing I take away from these predictions now is someone's going to be wrong. Fallout's not going to be on his own. It's either going to be chat or it's going to be us. I think that's the real thing. That's the real thing that this series leans on now, isn't it? Who's going to be wrong? Is it going to be chat or is it going to be us? That's the question that's going to be. Nor do I, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know who I want to be right. Do I want you to join
Twitch
Fallout?
Chat's always right anyway.
It's true, even when they're wrong. Even when they're wrong, they're just always right. You can't beat them. You really can't. They're a collective mind, and the collective mind tends to be smarter than just one. Weirdly enough, I guess not weird. Collective. Anyways, Onset Gaskin's going to be a great series. CLG Ghost. This match means one moves forward, one is going to be exited out of the tournament. So this is a very important matchup. CLG Ghost. Who's going to move forward? Onset Gaskin. Let's find out.
Let's find out indeed. I'm looking forward to this one, Dan. The final game of the day, the final match of the day, and we get to send one team through to tomorrow. And unfortunately, we get to pack the virtual bags of another and keep them at home, because I always say send them home. But as we all know, everyone's playing at home at the moment. But hopefully we can get into this game right now. And that's exactly what we are going to do. We'll start off on Overflow. CLG need this map win, in my opinion, if they want a chance of winning this series.
It's always a tough one, isn't it? When you see a team that has lost in winner's bracket off stream, and then a team who's won a game in lower bracket off stream, and there's nothing we can take away from those two games. All we've got is Ghost Gaming's performance that we saw earlier on stream, where they looked pretty successful. I was pretty confident they were going to walk through the group. I mean, the players they lost to, there's no disrespect there. Like, you know full well that they are players you can't lose to. They are players who deserve to be in that championship bracket. So I don't think Ghost Gaming will be too disheartened. However, do they see CLG as a potential banana skin, or do they see CLG as a real threat? Because I do think that Ghost Gaming have a lot more experience when it comes to these arena tournaments, so that's why they're naturally the favourites here.
I'm liking Dimi's little adjustment of the gamer tag as well to Dimothy. I think that's pretty good. I like that. I'm a big fan of that. Maybe I'm becoming a CLG fan already in this game, but the first round is underway, and it's going to be Pandxrz just taking damage. You can see that. The bottom left of your screen already having those shields broken, a little bit of HP damage chipped away at as well. But CLG, a lot of wingmans in the hands of the players at the moment. Luxford looking to watch that cross.
I wonder if the wingmen team were using wingman as well. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to see tomorrow. Anyway, that's a question for another day. Tomorrow we'll answer it. But Ghost Gaming right now, they're up a little bit, but they do have some sort of control. They're trying to engage with Dim, it would seem, and it looks like they were able to get a little bit of damage, but not without taking some of their own.
Yeah, definitely taking damage themselves. You can see that Madness has been knocked down. He's going to have to use a Phoenix kit, and that's going to take some time to pop. CLG trying to do what they can to keep each other alive. Luxford taking a little bit of a wide angle here to see if he can get some damage down. Big shots coming in from Dimi, but Madness hitting even bigger ones. Luxford gets the trade though, so a 2 for 2 across the board at the moment. But look at Panda's HP here. He's got pretty much a wish and a prayer to play with at the moment. Over time, he's going to get that passive helping him out a little bit, but it's not going to be enough for now. The Octane does fall, and that's going to be the first round on the board here to CLG.
Really well played from CLG as well. Nice and patient, just holding their angles, waiting for Ghost Gaming to push out of one of those doorways. And then as soon as Ghost Gaming tried to make a move, they were just met with a lot of pressure and a lot of violence as well from CLG, who look to try and take map 1, because it is going to be important. I think you want to try and keep the confidence low of this Ghost Gaming roster, because whenever you get knocked down into the lower bracket, you're always going to be a little bit deflated, especially with a roster like Ghost Gaming, who probably would have expected to walk through this group relatively comfortably just because of their previous experience in arena tournaments. But CLG looking to try and make a name for themselves in arenas. They're going to get really aggressive here using the bounce pad of Octane.
Straight towards that back pill as well to get those meds on board. They're going to beat Ghost Gaming comfortably towards the middle of the map as well. And of course you have former Logic Gaming member Madness as well, so maybe a little bit of a story I'm making up. There's obviously no bad blood whatsoever between the players, but for now it's going to be Nano who we're watching through the eyes of his wingman. 145 damage going to be hitting, but not without taking some himself, having to use one of those batteries early on.
It is important that you try and deplete these resources nice and early. Get rid of any bats, get rid of any cells if you can, just with the long distance shots that the wingman provides. But of course it means you do have to hit those shots. Most of these players now, they do have very good accuracy. As I say that, Six able to put a couple of shots in, but he's taking so much damage himself, and Ghost Gaming just can't seem to escape. They've got one. They find themselves in a 1 versus 2 against 2 CLG members.
1 versus 2. Madness needs to get this kill as quickly as physically possible. He's not going to be able to do so. A great job of just milking his life there for a few seconds from the Octane to make sure that his teammate can get in position to give him a little bit of help. And with that, CLG find themselves on map point already, Dan. We said this was vital for them to take this first map in the series, and it looks like they've heard our advice, and they're already up by 2.
And you've got to close it out. And I know I've said this a few times, but closing it out at 3-0 is so important. Otherwise, you let the team back in economy-wise. Like, this is the biggest advantage you're ever going to have with a 2-0 lead, because you're never going to be up by 2 ever again except for winning the map. Like, this is the only time you're going to have so much more credits to work with than the other. So you have to use it in best advantage, whether that be getting a couple of extra nades, extra shield bats, whatever. Just something that can allow you to plan out a fight to give you heads up over your opponent.
Six is going to be going wide right here. 2 times on the wingman. 45. He's going to be hitting, but without taking damage once more. Both teams just exchanging damage at the start. See, Pandxrz is really struggling though. He's taking quite a lot of damage. And look at this aggression coming in now from CLG. The damage done initially. Pandxrz does manage to get a battle though, and it's able to retreat, but that's leaving Six in a little bit of a sticky situation himself. The Pathfinder can't get out of dodge, cannot deal with the damage coming in from Luxford. And now Luxford looking to move in with that PK to get the second. He will indeed. Madness last alive once more, makes it at least a 1v2, but with only a P2020 in his hands, it will be CLG who close out the first map 3-0.
Twitch chat's looking so smug right now. I can see it. I can see their wry smiles.
Feel it.
Just energy coming from my secondary monitor right now. I don't even have the stream open on my secondary monitor, but I can feel the Twitch chat just gloating.
It's gonna open itself, like, creepily. You know what I mean?
It might. I think it might have. Maybe that's why I can feel it, but I mean, amazing performance from CLG there. Like, that is... We haven't seen many 3-0s happen throughout arena tournaments, not today anyway. And the fact that they've done it in such a quick fashion as well. Like, Ghost had the hands up saying, hey, you take whatever you want. Like a robber just walked into the house, got a gun to the head, and they're like, yeah, just take it, bro. Take the map, because we're not prepared, we're not ready. And that was the kind of name of the game in that one. Ghost were just so slow, and CLG took full advantage of it.
Very impressive from Catalogic Gamers. They got the first knock almost every single time, and Madness was left on his own in numerous situations. But just to go on a sidetrack for just a sec, have you had someone break into your house recently? Because I think that's about the 4th or 5th time you've said something about someone breaking into your house today. I just want to check you're okay.
I don't want to talk about it right now, but, you know...
Okay.
I'll blink a few more times just to let you know that I'm alright later, right?
You left the door open. I thought I was allowed in. Okay?
No.
That's all I thought. Anyway, moving on to our second map. This is where Ghost Gaming do have the opportunity to obviously turn this one around. Phase Runner is something they've been very, very successful on, but it's one thing to go into a map number 2, Dan, knowing it's one of your favorites, but coming off the back of like a 3-1, a 3-2, where you got some rounds on the board, that was a demolition job by CLG, and that's going to certainly carry over into the first gunfight, at least in the first round on Phase Runner.
I would usually say here, what's good is that these maps are going to be a lot larger now for Ghost so that they can take long distance fights. But from what we just saw with CLG and the wingman shots that they're hitting in close to medium range, that worries me, because if they can also add that to their long range, then they're going to be able to get that initial damage. And they looked the ones who were trying to be proactive. Like, they were always looking to take angles, they were being aggressive, they were confident. And on the other side for Ghost, it seems like that loss in the winners bracket seems to have sucked all that confidence out of them right now, and they need to find something to just dig deep and show like what we've seen in previous tournaments, because if they continue to perform like that, then quite rightly CLG will be the favorites going into these next couple of maps.
I think there was one round in that sticks out to me as well in that first map, where I think it was actually round number 1 where Ghost managed to get the first knock, but it was the speed at which it was traded out, and that's something that we don't talk about a huge amount in arenas, usually because you have players kind of spread quite wide on the map and trying to take different angles, but getting a trade is almost as vital as getting a first knock, right? If you can keep the numbers on your side and be in a position to convert on damage that's done by your teammate, that is vital for success, like you saw.
Yeah, I think getting trades and making sure that you don't go down without a fight is so important, and we've seen that several times today where someone thinks they're probably going to get a knock and trade out and do their job, and then they'll only get the other player to just half HP, for example, and we know full well that can easily be quickly healed by a bat as long as there's cover from the other team, and usually there is going to be cover because, you know, you've got an extra player to work with, so you can afford to dive behind a bit of an object and hope that the rest of the squad is going to be there to protect you. But map number 2 then, and a chance for Ghost Gaming to try and redeem themselves, and for CLG it's about using this momentum. Take this energy, take this aggression that we've seen in map number 1 and use it against Ghost Gaming. Scare them. Continue to show that you are the dominant force here.
Well, hopefully, for our benefit and our prediction, it is Ghost Gaming who managed to turn things around here and at least tie up the series. But with the way that first game did go, the first map, I should say, it's difficult to see Ghost Gaming being able to bounce back. But as we know, this is a new map, this is a new game, and you never know what can happen, especially in this first round. We'll start off by watching a little bit of Counter-Logic Gaming, though, understandably so after that 3-0 win in the first map, and a little bit of Luxford, a player who's certainly been making waves over the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, and I think that you saw what he was able to do up close and personal with the PK in that round, so if he can find similar aggression and get into the face of the opponents, then maybe he could really be a detriment to the Ghost Gaming roster. He's already trying to take an aggressive angle here and show what he can do with the wingman, and honestly, if all 3 of these players are connecting shots with the wingman, then Ghost Gaming are going to struggle.
Yeah, big fan of that from Luxford as well. Playing low, but the first time that we've seen her today, but the angle that he took, that's some knowledge of the map. However, those shots are pretty good as well, but it's not going to be enough. CLG do have a 2v1. Pandxrz last player alive for Ghost Gaming, and it looks like the aggression once again is going to pay off, and that's all off the back of that opening use of the bracelet to get into that position just behind that rock to get those angles. Really good knowledge of arenas and how to get across the map as quickly as possible.
I think one thing that maybe I didn't take into consideration with kind of prediction and my thoughts on this series when it was first presented to us is that even though CLG have been up and down throughout the Battle Royale scenario, when it comes to actual fights, I mean, teams aren't necessarily going to be directly comparative to actually BR. It's an entirely different environment, and you know, this CLG roster, they're demonstrating that they have so much confidence, and I think that's what you need in arenas. Confidence is everything, and unless Ghost Gaming have some sort of answer to reply to this aggression, maybe with aggression of their own, then this is only going to go one way. We've seen this time and time again in arena tournaments where the more aggressive team who is hitting their shots will just win. It's sometimes as simple as that.
Black Market will be down to maybe steal away those meds before anyone from Ghost Gaming can really get in position to do so. Look at those shots coming in from Nano, though. Once again, it's Ghost Gaming who lose the player first. Pandxrz goes down. Six is thinking, how do I get out of this one? He's trying to get the finish onto Dimi. Does manage to do that, but can't get out with his life. CLG now looking to finish off the final player. There's going to be ImMadness on his own once more. Luxford, he's trying to hunt him down. A huge headshot, though, is going to make this winnable all of a sudden for Ghost Gaming. What a shot that was.
You've got to be careful of your Luxford.
I
think
madness.
You've given that up. I mean, you've given that round up, really. It's unnecessary. I know he's trying to gain information. He's trying to just spot where he is to feed it to the team, but you don't push there. You've got no health. You've at least got to push at the same time to take an angle. That was an opportunity presented to Ghost Gaming, and ImMadness took it.
Ridiculous shots, though, coming in from ImMadness. I mean, the one onto Luxford, the headshot, the little flick up above him. We'll get to see it on this replay here. If he doesn't hit that shot, it's a very different situation, but he gave himself a winnable chance. And then when you hit a shot like that, you know when you're in the 1v1, you ain't gonna lose it. Just riding that wave of momentum, and ImMadness just reminding us of how talented he is with that wingman in his hand.
Ghost Gaming needed that as well, just giving that belief that, hey, you know, we can match this CLG roster. It's not like we are going to be getting 3-0'd every single time. Let's demonstrate what we've been able to do previously in tournaments and what we did earlier today against Furia. Now the belief's there, hoping to see this Ghost Gaming roster explode into what should provide a very entertaining series that's going to be back and forth.
ImMadness is very, very weak at the moment. Look at this. Luxford's trying to push in aggressively to clean things up. Can't quite connect through the bushes and the trees and the foliage that's on the outside. But here comes the rest of CLG and Ghost Gaming. They're not looking too confident now. Pandxrz, last player alive, tries to get the spray onto Nano. Will do indeed, and gives himself a winnable opportunity. Shots coming in the back, and he almost managed to take one more down, but it wasn't to be. A CLG will struggle their way through, but they will get that round on the board.
Why is that even happening? Why are CLG having... why are Ghost Gaming having to try 1v2 or 1v3 every single time? They need to be prioritizing their targets a little bit better here. They're getting caught off guard, and they're getting... Well, there's so much damage that they're receiving right at the start of the round where they find themselves just on the back foot straight away. And you've got to be so careful here. You can't expose yourself to all these angles, otherwise CLG are going to take full advantage.
Let me just see exactly that in that last round. It's just first blood every time, it feels like at the moment. First blood every time going down to CLG. And Ghost Gaming, apart from ImMadness going pretty wild and managing to clutch up in a situation that he probably shouldn't have won, it has been all CLG so far. Ghost Gaming need to get together, like you say, and find a way to at least cover each other's crosses, because it seems like one player is getting focused every time. And look at this, Pandxrz already moving up.
CLG will look to try and take map number 2 here on map point, of course. That really would put Ghost Gaming in a spot of bother. 2-0 down in the series would be a difficult scoreline to come back from, especially from what we've seen already from CLG. Luxford's taken a lot of damage, but should comfortably be able to heal back up, and you'd imagine, being the low burn, you've probably got more heals to work with as well. Pandxrz has got to be careful. Again, I'm talking about those angles, exposing yourself and leaving yourself in a position where a lot of damage can be done, but as I say that, Six gets some of his own.
2-4 on that flat line. The 2 times only being used that time to hit the damage, but it was 3 figures. Dimi going to be in a 1v1 here across map. Pandxrz not going to be able to win that one either. He's going to be forced to back down after the damage does come in from the wingman. across the other side of the platform. Luxford now trying to move up the CLG to see if he can capitalize on this damage. He's got an option to hit some nice headshots here onto Pandxrz, but can't quite connect for now. You can see his teammate Dimi's there to get his cross. 45 damage, that's just going to be to the body. No headshots to report so far.
The players spread out, all trying to cover each other's angles, all trying to cover each other's backs at the moment. It's about who bites first, who goes for the aggressive push. You'd imagine it would be CLG, and with a shot like that, that might just be enough to launch an attack. Luxford really trying to take this peak towards Pandxrz, but does get forced back. This is the slowest round we've had yet between these two teams. Ghost Gaming, they're going to be worried because they know one slip-up, one mistake, and they lose this round, they lose this map.
Oh, a nice spray there from 6 with the flatline. This time it's going to be a much better spray, this time coming in from Pandxrz. Luxford down, Dimi down as well, and Ghost Gaming look to answer back here. It's a 3v1. They just need to make sure that they do not throw this round. Luxford does manage to get away for just a second here, has the wingman to work with from range. And can he get a knock? That's the question. Can he turn the numbers a little bit closer to his advantage? The answer is no, as he's chased down by ImMadness.
Nice and patient there from Ghost Gaming. CLG were desperately trying to launch an attack every single time they did damage, but far better at covering each other at this point were Ghost. That's what they've lacked in the early rounds that they lost, where they just left themselves in a position where CLG could freely push and take advantage of the damage they've been able to do. But the fact that now Ghost Gaming seem to have worked out how CLG want to approach this, that's why we've got a better map on our hands. This isn't going to be a walkover. Of course, you have to win by 2, so next round is going to be important, but it won't be a map-winning round. I wonder whether CLG will try and adjust something now. Are they going to try a different play from the playbook? Or are they going to continue with something similar? Do the damage with a distance and then launch an attack as soon as you can. Ghost Gaming weren't allowing it, but CLG might try and force it once more.
Luxford, the first one to get his feet on the solid ground after hitting that bounce pad. 6 again with some good shots there with the 2-4. However, takes a little bit of damage from that frag grenade. So going to have to use one of those batteries early on here. The rest of his team are pushed up across the map. And this is a vital round here, Dan. Whoever gets this is not only going to find themselves onto map point, but also get that momentum back on their side. Ghost Gaming were down and out of it a few rounds ago, but they've managed to fight their way back into this.
And it's very easy to not believe in momentum being a thing, but mentality is always going to be a factor when it comes to any esport, any game. CLG doing a lot of damage right now, and Ghost Gaming having to retreat ever so slightly. If any of these nades hit, that could be CLG launching an attack, but it looks like none of them tagged just yet. CLG being a little bit more patient.
Luxford using that bracelet to get an angle, has to get out as well, manages to do so for now. Has to pop a battery, so at the moment CLG do have a flank. Great shots, the headshot and the body shot, but Dimi can't quite finish off the kill because of the fact that there was great team fire coming in from his opponents that forced him back. And you can really start feeling the nerves and the anticipation in this round, Dan. Everybody trying to get that first knock, but nobody connecting quite yet until now. Luxford takes down ImMadness.
Such a good angle Luxford is taking right now. He's going to be focused. He needs the rest of the team to join him. He's got the initial damage. Now we need to see some cleanup. We are going to see Pandxrz as the last remaining player for Ghost. Does get one, but it's not going to be enough. CLG, and most importantly, just the positioning from Loba and Luxford was so crucial there. And he could have died earlier on. When he went for the portal, he almost put himself in a position where before that portal had landed to the ground, he could have been taken down, but he was very quick to get out of dodge. And CLG find themselves on map point once more. Well, we're going to see whether we're going to get a chance for now maybe another map to go on the scoreboard, and a 2-0 advantage would really be such an important one. Whereas Ghost Gaming, they need this round, they need to get back into things. CLG cannot allow this one to slip through their fingers, which we've seen a few teams do already today. But CLG, with the way they've been playing and the aggression and the confidence, I think they'll fancy this one. Already throwing a couple of nades towards the side of Ghost Gaming. Nano trying to get into a position to maybe take an angle, and just look how CLG are already trying to collapse, and Ghost Gaming have got to be careful. Otherwise, CLG are going to be in a spot where they can just jump on them instantly.
There's an enemy.
Nano going to be able to take a bat here. Ghost Gaming on the back foot as well. Pan's going to be so weak. They can take down Pandxrz. CLG will really be able to take control of this fight. Pandxrz, a slither of health. Sneeze on him, and he probably fall. Pandxrz gets a bat off. That's absolutely massive. Now Ghost Gaming can try and reset. Nano's been taken down, so Luxford and Dimi, the last two remaining players. Six and Pan on the other side. Loads of shields on the side of Pandxrz. Has to do what he can. Six has been able to take down two, so it's a 2 versus 1. And Luxford, though, he's got plenty of health to work with, and those are some massive shots. Turns around. Can he take down Six? This would be a big fight to win, and he does so! CLG win the second map, and it's Luxford popping off. And CLG look different gravy right now. So impressed with what I'm witnessing. I know I predicted Ghost, but honestly, you've just got to be proud of what you see from the boys here. Well, I mean, that's what you want to see. I've lost Onset temporarily, if you're wondering why I was talking to myself. But I've got Taylor alongside me. And Taylor, CLG, they're surprising me, but Switch chat, they seem to know something.
Oh, they always know something. We talk about how smart they are. I mean, literally 5-head chat. Probably Blaze, too. Let's not forget Blaze. Blaze is the Vibe Master. He probably went with CLG, too. Okay, Blaze, actually in chat, let us know, who did you, in fact, go with? No, that's a big win, given the fact that Ghost earlier had 3-0'd Fury, I believe, on that map. And that's always been kind of their bread and butter, Gaskin. And the fact that they lose that now 4-2, more competitive than Overflow, does give me cause to pause, especially as we head into Party Crasher, because Party Crasher is, a relatively aggressive map, and aggression seems to be something that simply Ghost they just can't put up with. They're putting themselves in bad fights, bad situations, which, speaking of which, you brought up multiple times that Ghost needs to prioritize fights that favor them. How many times, Gaston, did we see them get first blooded or just get put in a position where they were in a 1v2, 1v3?
Yeah, I mean, almost every round, and even the rounds where they did get the first round themselves, they weren't able to capitalize on it. In that last round in particular, Luxford in a 1 versus 2, but still able to clutch up. I mean, sometimes arenas do come down to just individual brilliance, right? If one player is popping off and hitting their shots, then they're sometimes going to be untouchable. Teams are going to be unbeatable with individual talent like that, and it's something that Luxford's been displaying here for CLG. His positioning's been excellent, and the shots he's been hitting to follow up just make him a very difficult player to go up against right now.
Yeah, clearly so. And Loba making a big impact here, I think, just with that speed boost in general, just being able to get in areas quickly. And, something unique. We don't see Loba here. Rampart is kind of the only deviating factor, but Loba joining into the mix seems to have paid off dividends.
Yeah, and Loba was really important in Arena right when Arena was launched, because people realized that you can steal away those meds from the other team. But I think what's important is her portal as well, just being able to use that bracelet, reposition, maybe surprise the other team. That's what Luxford's been doing with it. He's been aggressive with it at times, but also having it as a get out of jail free card as well. We've seen him get exposed, but then naturally portaling back to his teammates. And as long as he can get that initial damage and then portal away, it works similarly to a Wraith Q. Okay, you're a little bit more vulnerable before you are able to get that bracelet down to the ground, but it also allows you to take a little bit more elevation with that portal. You're not going to be necessarily restricted to just ground level. So I do think Loba offers a lot in the arena environment, and Luxford's been playing perfect.
We talked a lot about CLG, which, I mean, rightly so. They're leading 2-0 in the series. I knew, or at least I thought, this was going to be more competitive. FaZe Runner was fairly competitive. Now, one thing that I do want to point out, though, in favor of Ghost is ImMadness. I mean, ImMadness had so many incredible moments, and none greater than that one moment where I thought Ghost was going to gain the momentum back over CLG, and that's when, obviously, ImMadness hit that beautiful headshot on Luxford, and then, obviously, that beautiful series of shots onto Nano. Again, though, Ghost didn't really recover after. Well, they did. They won one round, at least after that, but from that point forward, Ghost just couldn't figure it out. And again, that gives me concern as we head into map number 3, which is going to be Party Crasher, because Gaskin, again, Ghost just isn't putting up with that speed boost that we've seen Arena kind of develop into. So I ask you, Gaskin, you being the expert, I mean, Ghost, at this point, what is the answer? Because I haven't seen one.
Stay alive. It sounds simple, but how many times did you see ImMadness left on his own at the end? And it's just that first blood time and time again.
Right.
I don't know if it's maybe just them being unaware of the angles that were being taken against them, or they were just leaving themselves in positions where they could just be shot in the back. Something was going incredibly wrong for them, and I think they'll know that. I think they know that they took too much damage in the early stages. They almost wanted this slow, methodical poke battle, but they were losing it so quickly. They didn't really have time to use any of the healing items that they'd actually purchased in the early stages. So they need to make sure if they have a plan of going for a poke war and getting heals, then you've got to make sure you're hitting your shots and you're staying alive. You can't afford to leave yourself in a position where you are going to be so easily shot and damaged. Or you try and match them stride for stride, show similar aggression, just get in those fights and show what you're made of.
And I want to see Ghost do that. I think that's the best point right there. Just get in the face of CLG, flex your muscles, flex your mechanical abilities and your slaying abilities, which I know Ghost can absolutely do so. We've seen him do it earlier against Furia, but they're really going to have to step it up here. Ghost, one of the favorites in our tournament, might be seeing an early exit, and I do believe this will be the first time Ghost as an organization has not made it to playoff bracket. So Gaskin, I'm no Onset, but I'm going to give it my best shot. First time casting Apex, at least in a long time. Hey, let's get it going, man. Round number 1, CLG, Ghost Gaming.
Kind of prefer it this way. I'm going to be honest. This is nice.
Stop it.
Stop. A nice break from Mark for a few minutes. I was almost relieved. I'm joking. But no, it's good to have you here. And Ghost Gaming, I want to see aggression. Well, there's aggression, but it's coming out of CLG once more. Luxford able to get the initial down, and then this is what usually follows. You get 1, you get 2, and the round should be there for you.
Tough break, already first blooded, and second one's going to come through. CLG, though, loses a couple of themselves. Luxford now forced to clutch. Beautiful shot, though, on Pandxrz just up ahead. To play this properly, are going to have a bit of a stalemate for the time being. An opportunity for Pandxrz, obviously, to go ahead and get shielded back up. Actually going for the revive, but no luck. Lux is going on the attack, Gaskin.
Yeah, 1 versus 1 that maybe Luxford didn't expect to find himself in after the initial damage that was found. Again, that revive is going to be baited, and if the revive does happen, then that's going to be so difficult, but maybe he's heard that he's gone off it once more. So Pandxrz, again, just trying to lure Luxford into his path, but not yet been able to be finding any success with it.
Round 2, going for the revive. Luxford, you got to get there. Avoid that. It's going to be a 1v2 relatively soon, and it is a 1v2, but good shots, but now he's just as weak. No bats to his name. Hits another great shot to get it down, so Luxford staying alive as long as he possibly can. Very doable. In the meantime, Pandxrz just up ahead. He's been spotted. Luxford in the 1v1. Once again, another bit of a stalemate. Going for another revive. Pandxrz is literally doing everything in his power to clutch this round up.
Well, he's got no bats to work with, but he does have teammates he can bring back into the fray. It's a 1 versus 2, but they're both so low. The P2020, can that do the damage? Madness at a slither, trying to hide behind the shields, can't hide for much longer. And eventually, the round comes to a close. CLG put their first on the board. It was elongated, maybe slightly too long, it has to be said, but CLG, at least they were able to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, Luxford at that point, bro, like that goes close. You know, pucker factor was real, but he made it happen. CLG now 2 rounds away from being victorious over Ghost Gaming and knocking them out of the tournament, obviously moving forward to playoffs tomorrow to join the likes of Esports Arena Torrent, Johnsonville, Arena Demons, Wingman, just so many great competitors and great teams still to compete against, and CLG is looking like the outlier, like one of our best teams we've seen today. I'm curious, will they be able to keep this momentum up? Ghost Gaming, they've got to avoid getting first blooded because that's been a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, even though they were able to kind of bring it back in that round, they were down and they put themselves in a position where they were kind of in panic mode. Also, shout out to Luxford, who's another one of these flex players who seems to change legend every single map depending on what he finds more comfortable. Now he's got the ultimate as well for Ash, so he can portal in and get aggressive. That's exactly what we're going to see here.
Hitting aggressive, nice shots. Luxford up close. A little bit of a gimme battle, but drops down on a 6. Going to get the drop. Still 3 strong for CLG. Make that just 2, but before you know it, Ghost Gaming suffers yet another loss as CLG. That aggression, Ghost just can't simply hang on. They just really can't battle against CLG, who's just in their face off the rip. And Ghost Gaming on the brink of losing and being eliminated. Like I said, the first time, I think, in all of our arena tournaments here in day number 1, but it could be a real possibility. CLG up 2-0.
This is what Furia wanted to do to Ghost Gaming earlier on in the day. Play these aggressive legends and just be relentless. Like, doesn't matter about the Gibby, doesn't matter about the bubble. Just get in their face, make them uncomfortable. Don't give them time to have any sort of strategy, any sort of method behind the madness. CLG are just full on trusting their gun ability and using any aggressive legends that are on offer to them, and they're executing it perfectly here. This is scary for Ghost Gaming, as we are 1 round away from this series going in favor of CLG. So Ghost Gaming, they've got to answer back right here, right now. This is where I want to see the best players step up, because otherwise if they roll over and show their belly, CLG are going to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, but I'm already seeing Ghost kind of turtle up. It seems as if they're a bit apprehensive. They don't want to necessarily push this fight, where CLG is not shy at all. But Pandxrz, though, is going to get a couple attacks, but he's going to drop himself. First blooded once again is going to be Ghost. And that's going to be 3 strong for CLG. Timothy will get his shield back into place, but Nano is unrelenting with that Octane going for the boost. Now we'll be on the backside of 6. Still that from you, Gaskin. 6 is going to drop in the meantime, and CLG will complete the win and lead 3-0 in the series and ultimately move forward for tomorrow. My lord, that was an explosive ending to this entire tournament as we bring Onset back in. Gaskin, just... Ghost simply couldn't keep up. That's the bottom line. They like the slower pacing. They do not like the intensity what CLG brought.
CLG was so explosive that they killed Onset's internet temporarily. Like, they sent it through
even my internet,
over to the
PC.
UK, and Mark said his PC just full on died. They were that good. I mean, I was boasting about my predictions all day, but I'm quite happily wrong in that point, because I love it when I see a team completely surprise me. I wasn't expecting that from the CLG roster. They've shown something that I wasn't thinking I was going to see today, but that's pure dominance. Like, over and over, round after round, they asserted their dominance.
Pure dominance. And Onset, once you unmute in Discord, we'll be able to have a conversation with you, brother, and really get it going. I know there's been a lot of chaos, Onset. I'm sorry I had to take your spot in the cast, but what an ending that was. 3-0 for CLG to finish it off here. 3-0 in general as a whole for the series. CLG looking so dominant, so strong. Ghost, I mean, like I said, couldn't keep up. But, I mean, what was your takeaway from this series in regards to CLG as a whole?
It was dominance. I was so impressed with the wingman shots. I think that's one thing that always stands out to me. And apologies, or you're welcome, so that we got some reflections cast, because that was awesome, by the way. But yeah, it was amazing to watch. And I think Ghost Gaming were one of those teams early on in arenas who were playing like CLG, right? Everyone feared fighting them. They didn't want to get into those battles, and CLG just rocked them. It was 3-0, and I think we talked about how important the first map was, not just for momentum, it was the way that they won it. And CLG, I mean, the only reason that Ghost Gaming won rounds was because of ImMadness doing something crazy. And if you're having to rely on a player to do that, you're not going to win a series.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you can. I mean, Madness, like you said, popped off. Okay, cool. And that was the question, too, that I had for myself as I was listening to you both cast on Phase Runner. Is like, is Ghost really going to come back? Well, if Madness is having to do that, or if individuals on Ghost is having to try and clutch up, probably not. CLG controlled the pacing and really controlled the style and forced Ghost to play into him. Even Gaskin in that final round, as I said, Ghost just... They were pushed back. They were pressured back. Even in that last round where they knew their tournament life was on the line, they still didn't push forward and try and take that momentum away from CLG, which was very surprising to see, because I think it's uncharacteristic. But if you had to give an MVP for anybody on CLG, who would it be? I mean, Luxford for me is looking like the front runner.
Yeah, I mean, I think you took the player out of my mouth there. I was going to say that Luxford, he has to be. Just being that flex player that can change over and over, but his Loba plays were insane. I mean, on Ashe, there wasn't that many rounds to see him demonstrate it, but on the rounds where he did have his ultimate, he was straight in, getting aggressive, using the ultimate as I think it should be, as an entrance rather than an escape. As for Ghost, it seemed like they wanted to play this slow, strategical game and try and get the bubbles down, and they were turtling up, as you mentioned, but CLG, they were too quick to the punch, and every time, unfortunately for Ghost, they just didn't have an answer to that aggression. They couldn't match the shots. There were times where one of the players would almost take out a CLG member, but they wouldn't quite get there. CLG did very well to get in those fights and then out before they were taken down.
Yeah, did an excellent job, I think, utilizing their numbers correctly in general and just getting consistently getting first bloods made all the difference in the world. Yeah, I'm impressed. That's all I got to say. CLG and Arena Demons, I think, for me personally, kind of took the cake for the front runners. Other than Esports Arena, obviously, who's going to be there, but much respect to all 8 teams that move forward.